Hello again, River family. So excited to be here with you today and Pastor Ty, continuing to talk about unity as a whole this entire month, but building off more of what Pastor Ty brought this week about it and getting prepared for what Pastor Oz is bringing next week. We talked about that unity requires of us a choice for connection and a buy-in to the vision.
Yeah.
And then where does that lead us to?
Yeah.
What is our purpose and what does that look like?
Yeah, so I want to talk about yes. I think that yes is a valuable, important word that is overutilized and underutilized at the same time. And I think that this is something that we really have an opportunity to understand, and it is one of the keys to unity. We talked about vision and what it means to be a part of this family, and now we're going to kind of talk about your yes and your purpose. So we have a vision at the River of creating families that are connected to both God and to each other.
Yeah.
And that the purpose of creating those families is to encounter God, to equip people to see and do what God has called them to do, and then empower them to be fully who they are in the body of Christ. We believe the best way to do that is through family. And so when we're talking about the vision, when we're talking about our purpose, we have to realize that everybody has a yes and a no.
And that saying yes to something does mean a no.
Yeah.
To other things.
Yeah.
And that is a powerful thing to realize, because I think we sometimes, as Christians, people feel this pressure to, I have to say yes to everything that looks like God.
Yes.
Right? Everything that anyone who knows God is saying what God is doing, I should be a part of.
Yes.
And I don't think that that's actually what we're called to, right? Like each person, each family, each church is called to something specific. And it's really great to value what other people are doing.
Yeah.
And maybe sometimes God is calling you into something different, and that's also great. And we are never against that, right? But if you are saying yes to the vision here, it means saying no to other things.
Yeah. I mean, some really simple examples that I think are important for us to realize. If you go to Walmart, right, and you have $100, and the groceries that you want to buy cost $90, and the picture that you want to put on the wall costs $50, you have to say yes to one of them. And in saying yes to one of them, you are saying no to the other one. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with the picture. Doesn't mean that the picture isn't valuable or important. It just means that you've said yes to something, which means that you're saying no to something else. If you're a kid and you walk into GameStop, right, and you have $60, that's how much a game is. You only get one. So when you say yes to one game, the new Halo Infinity game, come on, then you're saying no. You're saying no to a lot of other opportunities. You're saying no to a lot of other options. That doesn't mean that those other options are bad. It just means you've said yes to something. If you're a parent in this place, right?
There are, though, just want to point out in the example, there are also bad options with that money.
For
too.
sure.
You could spend that money on a lot of things that are bad as well.
Yeah.
So sometimes we've bought into visions that are bad.
Yeah.
But we also want to make it clear that like there are other good options too, and that's okay to say no to them as well.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I mean, this is something that's really important, right? Like, there's a Presbyterian church right down the road. They have a vision and a purpose from God. Mm-hmm. They've said yes to that vision and that purpose. And there are aspects of their vision and their purpose that are different than ours. It doesn't mean that theirs is right and ours is wrong. It doesn't mean that ours is right and theirs is wrong. It just means that their yes might mean no to some of the things that are important to us.
Yeah.
You know, if you're a missionary who's called to be a missionary in another country, you're saying
only in one country.
Yeah, you're saying no to starting a church in your hometown. You're saying no to some family time with the grandparents that other people might get to have because the Lord has called you somewhere else that you said yes to. That doesn't mean that family time or some of these other things are bad. It just means that your yes put you somewhere.
Yes.
And you grab hold of that, but it has to also say no to some other things. So what does that have to do with being here at the River? What does that have to do with the family that we're called to? And what have we said yes to in this environment?
It means that we're asking you to say yes to, like, being committed to time with the family.
Yeah.
Investing in relationships, which can't just happen sitting here.
Yeah.
Right? It can't happen on a Sunday. The relationship time looks like other stuff. It looks like being here in between services, coming on Wednesday nights for dinner, coming to the family nights. It looks like having dinner with other couples, going out after church. There are a lot of things that saying yes to family means that aren't just come to church and please tithe, right? Like, that's not what we're asking of you. We're asking more.
Yeah. Imagine
that investment means something.
That's right. Imagine you're a teenager and you're living at home and mom and dad say, hey, this is really important to us. We really think it's a big deal that you get good grades, right? And you do really, really good in 3 classes and ignore 2 of them, right? And then you only show your parents those 3 report cards that they do really, really well. That's not carrying the vision. That's coming to church on Sunday morning.
And that's just trying to get by.
Yeah, that's
like trying to look good.
Exactly. So what we're saying is, look, there's a vision here. There's a family that we're talking about. There's a yes that we're asking for, and that yes is not sit in a chair on Sunday morning. Now, if you do, we love you, and that's never going to change.
You're valuable. You're
That's right.
accepted. You're wanted. We're not trying to put you down. We're giving you an opportunity.
Exactly.
Of something better. Something
we're
bigger.
inviting you into the family. We're inviting you to carry the vision. And so we want you to think about things like, there's times when I'm very direct, and maybe some people would say harsh, when it comes to things like our family nights. I think our last one, we had those water wars.
Yes.
And I literally said from the pulpit, hey, some of you don't want to get wet, but that's what it means to be a part of this family. Like, we're calling you to do something that might be uncomfortable, that might be difficult. It's going to be awesome, and you're going to love parts of it, and parts of it are going to be super difficult. We're calling you and inviting you to volunteer, whether it's in the AV or the worship team or children's church or being a greeter. We're inviting you to be a part of this family and what we're called to and what we're accomplishing. And some parts are going to be great, some parts are going to be hard. But what is your yes? Are you carrying this vision?
And it's important that we're not looking for those yeses for the performance. We don't have a check. We don't look at our list of members and say, well, this person's volunteering on the most teams, so they're the best part of the family. No.
Yes.
And we don't say, look at this couple, they aren't volunteering for anything or coming to the nights, they must not be part, right? Like, it is more about your heart. That's what God cares about. That's what we care about.
Yes.
So being bought in doesn't mean you have to check all the boxes. But there are opportunities, right? And so every opportunity is something you should be talking to God about. Is this my buying in? And if he says yes, and you're like, but I don't really want to, right? That's what we're pushing on. Like, yeah, we know not everyone wants to serve on a team, but when you're part of a team, that's where you get to connect with people. You get to be with the people who are a part of that. You get to have more conversations and connect. If you're a greeter, you get to welcome people into the family, literally.
Yes.
Every time a new person comes, that's the first person they see, the person holding the door, saying, hello, welcome, so glad you're at the river today. And so it's really important that your yes is a powerful thing that unlocks these opportunities. But like Pastor Ty said, sometimes it requires something of you.
Yeah.
The yes isn't just saying no to other things. It does mean that I'm bringing whatever it is, time, energy, love.
Yeah. So really quickly, we want to think about your yes and what does that mean that you're saying no to. In this environment, if you're saying yes to be a part of this family, you're saying that family and connection and love are more important than politics. You're saying that family, connection, and love are more important than you thinking that prosperity means the biggest house with the biggest boat, with the biggest car, with the greatest vacations. Success and family here looks like connections, looks like lives impacted, looks like hearts being touched.
Looks like people around when you need them and being there for when people need it.
So saying yes to being a part of this family is saying no to some other things. It might be saying no to golfing on Sunday morning. Maybe it's saying no to doing this thing over here so that you can have dinner with us on Wednesday nights. Or maybe it's, hey, I could spend some time with this couple at work, or I could take out this family from church to lunch, or whatever. Saying yes to this family means some things that you're saying no to are falling to the side. Not that there's something wrong with them or they're evil or bad, but they're not the yes that you've made. This Sunday, Pastor Oz is going to talk about the fruits of unity, because honestly, this is where we're headed. Like
the power that it brings.
Yeah, everything that we're talking about is leading to this.
Yes.
And we're so excited because unity is not just like this is not a recruitment video.
No.
We're not saying, hey, our teams are low and we need you to volunteer. What we're saying is we have a vision. We're going somewhere. God's doing something. And unity is your buy-in. And this Sunday, Pastor Oz is going to talk about what that gets us, what happens when we walk in unity as the body of Christ. So don't miss Sunday. It's going to be good.